Christian Summers, the man himself, joined me on the podcast to talk all things fitness, strength, and personal training. Christian is a guy who knows a lot about the body, how it works, and what it needs in order to create the best version of yourself. With years of knowledge under his belt and first-hand experience within the powerlifting and gym scene, Christian is the go-to man for advice around building your physique, body, and mental strength. I have had first-hand experience from Christian himself. I can tell you, he knows his stuff. Taking it back to the old school gym days, we filmed in the first place we met, in the gym that has stood the test of time. We covered his gym experience and his top tips for building strength and endurance, what the misconceptions are on what to eat and to fuel your workouts, supplements, protein, workouts, and much, much more. As always, subscribe to the show. It really helps more people see it, and please enjoy the episode. Sweet. Well, we'll start with the obvious. Why are you a PT?
Oh my God, what a great question. Straight off the bat. Why am I a PT? So, when I was younger, maybe like 11 years old, like maybe even younger. Yeah, like 11 years old, something like that. I was quite self-conscious the way I looked. So in terms of like, I knew I was quite skinny.
You were skinny?
Yeah, I was quite skinny. So I was quite like, really naturally skinny. I just started playing rugby around that time. My brother had been going gym and absolutely fucking smashing it. He was in like year 11 at high school. I was in year 7. So he'd been smashing gym. He was known as a guy that went gym sort of thing. He rinsed me a little bit like, yeah, you fucking chest's inside out, mate, whatever. And then I remember going to like rugby training when I was that age. Yeah. And, I didn't even think compared to like lads my own age being that young, I wasn't even that skinny. And then someone else said something similar. Like pass the ball through Summers, it'll go through him sort of thing. And I remember, at the time, like that's not really what, obviously, being that young, you don't have the mental maturity and sort of confidence to be able to sort of just like knock stuff off. So like for me at that age, it was like, you know what, I do want to fucking, like generally just wanted to feel better about myself. I wanted to feel more confident in my own skin. But I wouldn't have been able to put that into words back then. No. Like, I couldn't have connected the dots that is probably why that's driving me. Also, like, as a kid, I was a big fan of, like, professional wrestling. I used to love, like...
WWE?
Yeah. I used to fucking love it, man.
Dwayne.
Like, The Rock and fucking Goldberg and Stone Cold Steve Austin. All these, like, great, bald legends. That's why I'm bald now as well.
You are bald now, actually. That's the first time I've seen it.
Yeah. So, like, I was a big fan of that. Like, I idolised, that type of thing. Oh, it's so cool. And, like, I also used to, like, love, like, all the Arnie films, like Terminator 2, Predator. They were, like, my favourite films growing up. So, like, I always... idolise that sort of like jacked bloke. That's kind of what I wanted to be in myself, and I wasn't. So like when I was really young, that was like my first step into like doing weights and that. So like I'd literally just do like push-ups at home. My mum had these 3 kilo Adidas dumbbells, so I used to do like sets of 50 with them. Like form were probably obviously awful. Just in my bedroom on a night.
How old are you when you were doing this?
Yes, like 11 years old.
Fuck yeah. So like pre-puberty.
Yeah. So I was young, and then 14th birthday got the bench press. But yeah, so that was kind of like my introduction into like training and just to like make myself feel better, be more confident. And then I noticed that it was having a positive impact on my rugby as well. So obviously playing amateur rugby from my teenage years. Obviously, as I got stronger but more muscular, I felt more confident on the pitch because that I played better. I was stronger in contact, things like that. And then ultimately, I was just obsessed with the gym. So it was like. I remember I went to Greenhead College in Huddersfield. It's quite like an academic college. Obviously, being in the catchment area, you don't have to be very academic to get in. Like, so you just need a 5 A to C's. I didn't do terribly at GCSEs, but I got in. All my mates went there, so that's where I went. I was not interested in doing my subjects, really. Like, in first year, I almost completely dropped out. Like, I just did... weirdly, I got 2 U's and I got an A and a B.
Jeez, wide on the spectrum.
Yeah, I know. So I got an A in theatre studies and a B in PE, and then I got U's in the other ones that were just called gap fillers. But all I was interested in doing at the time was playing rugby and going to the gym. I was on trial at Huddersfield Giants in my first year of college, so I went down there.
Sick.
And then when my dad kind of said to me, I was like failing my AS levels, he said to me, right, Christian, are you going to be a rugby player or are you going to pass your A levels? And I was like, yeah. And, in hindsight, there were quite a lot of years there where I was quite angry that I listened to my dad on that one. But yeah, I knew I was just obsessed with gym. I managed to get through my A levels, got from SLs, A levels. Then I was looking at degrees, realised there was something called strength and conditioning you could do at university, which essentially is like a personal training for athletes.
My brother did it as well, I think.
Right, okay, sick. So sounded cool. So I thought, right, I'm going to do that. I actually wanted to drop out of college and go to a PT qualification. My parents, even my brother, like convinced me not to do that. Get me A levels, just get your A levels, just keeping me safe sort of thing. And then, basically, I went to apply for UCLan University, which was like the closest one that did S&C, which seemed like a good university for that course. They had links with Wigan Warriors Rugby League and stuff like that. I was like, yeah, sick. Turns out they didn't accept one of my S levels. So basically I then had to go and do an extra year at college, at New College. And then I eventually went and did S&C there. Did my full undergrad degree, did well, played rugby there still. At the end of that, they offered a master's degree in the same thing, strength and conditioning. So Master of Science, strength and conditioning, did that. The second year of that part-time masters, I came home because I was done with the uni and the rugby lifestyle, just being an absolute seshead and being a beast in that regard. And I came home and I figured, I can get PT insurance, even though I didn't have a level 3 PT qualification because I had the undergrad and the master's degree. You can get insurance to train people. So I thought, well, whilst I'm finishing my degree, it's a part-time masters that second year and I'm living at home, I figured I may as well do some PT at the same time. Started PT and realised I actually enjoyed training Susie to get ready for a wedding more than I enjoyed training these professional athletes when I did my placements at university. So it kind of came full circle. I ended up like wanting to drop out and be a PT then, and then I ended up doing it.
It's exactly what you did.
I ended up coming full circle and I started doing it and I was like, this is sick. I applied for like one S&C job whilst I was still PTing, didn't get it at Giants actually, funnily enough.
Really?
Yeah, and then I was like, nah, fuck that. Am I allowed to swear on the podcast?
Do what you want.
Yeah, so fuck that, whatever. Did the PT and then like that was 2018. 2017 actually I PT'd someone else as well actually. Anyway. So yeah, 2017-18 started PT and then the rest is history. I just stuck with it, loved it. Jeez. And then now I'm completely online. Don't even do technically PT.
Yeah, I was going to say that was going to be the next question about the online thing. What are some of the misconceptions around fitness and fat loss and where people, like when people have New Year's resolutions, you probably get this all the time with your clients, and it comes to January and people set these massive goals of I want to lose 15 kilograms by March because I've got a wedding or I've got a holiday in March and April, and then they're like, I want to set all these big goals, and then 2 weeks into January it's just all too much, and then just basically go back to square one. Is there like advice around that, or where, because I know you PT me, you've been PT me since end of June 2022.
Yeah,
I think it was.
Yeah.
I know that because that's when I went for a breakup. So that's fair.
Yes.
So thank you for saving me, Christian.
Yeah, no, awesome. No, you smashed it, brother.
So I guess like the misconceptions around why people think being into fitness and going to the gym and being like into your nutrition and tracking your calories and your protein. Why do people think it's such a hard thing? Because I know I struggle with it, but I know what to do. And I know the benefits of doing it. But I'm just sometimes lazy with it, which I'm assuming a lot of your clients can be like that, and you're probably the same. Sometimes I can't be asked eating chicken and rice 3 times a day. I just want to have a fucking KFC or something. But I guess you have that drive in your head that's like, the regret of having that KFC that will slow you down the next week and make you feel like crap on the Monday. But I guess what are like the misconceptions around why is it so hard for people to get into fitness and nutrition and just be a healthier person?
There is, you know what, mate? There is a lot of reasons.
There's a lot of reasons, yeah. It's probably open-ended question.
There's a lot of reasons, man. To answer your first part of the question regarding when people set New Year's resolutions and they go like fucking hell for leather out the gate, and then they slip up because it's kind of overwhelming for them. They don't do, so like anyone that comes on with me, basically do what's called a behaviour change phase, which is like anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks generally, where we are not even focused on the outcome. It is literally just like the daily and weekly actions that actually get you a result. So rather than thinking, right, fucking month 1, I need to lose 5 kg. hey, you probably can lose 5 kg in month one, you know.
Yeah.
Especially, you know, if you're a 100 kilo bloke or whatever, you know, like someone,
Yeah.
you know, people can, and they do. But what people do is they focus too much on outcomes straight away out the gate, and basically, at the end of the day, if you can't stick to things when they feel relatively easy and achievable, you have no business dropping the hammer and going hard. So that's something that I incorporate now, where I'm like, okay, let's get your food in place. Let's get your weight training in place. Steps or cardio goal or a combination of the two. Let's try and work on your sleep. And then if you've got a coach, like, let's make sure you're checking in on time. Okay. And then, yeah, simple time. Very, very bad.
I'm very bad at that, to be fair.
He's on strike too.
What was that, strike 12 by now?
Yeah, he's almost off the team.
Sometimes I'm late, I just don't bother checking in because I'm like, it's too late now. It's been 4 days.
You are terrible. Yeah.
I'm bad at it.
But essentially, like, if someone, and you know, and that's why right now we are dropping the hammer with you, because you know, for you right now, it's a case of we need to be able to do the basics. You can't even check in on time. Like, we have no business fucking saying you, like, if you can't do something so easy in that regard. And, you know, people go through seasons of this. Like, people go through seasons of high motivation and low motivation.
Yeah.
But yeah, essentially that is the reason why people will go too hard out the gate sometimes when they haven't got the foundations to do that. Some people can go hard out the gate. You know, for example, with myself, I've been my first cut I did 13 years ago. I did my first fat loss phase in 2000 when I was 16 years old. So it's like, you know, from a holiday in Zante. So it's like, I'm well equipped now where I can drop the hammer and I can do aggressive cuts and I know I'm going to be fine. I'm not going to get a fucking eating disorder. I'm not going to fall off halfway through and quit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like most people that haven't done this before or have done it and failed before won't be able to do that. So biggest misconception around, you know, the issue with going hard out the gate in January is they do try and use that January just to try and get the basics in place. Okay? And just prove to yourself that you can stick to something, no matter, and it doesn't have to be super hard. So that's probably the first thing. Other reasons why people think it's so difficult and why they give up is they think that, and let's talk about fat loss specifically, right? And like keep it, you know, staying in shape. People think that initial fat loss phase that you do is something that you have to do then for the rest of your life. They think, what I do to get in shape is what I need to do for the rest of my life to stay in shape. And there is a small element of truth to that, but not how people think.
Yeah.
So, for example, right, if someone needs to drop some body weight, right, they might need to do 3,000 steps on top of what they're currently doing. Okay, they might need to bring the food right down. Nice. Careful, that's some strong caffeine. This is it's 6:15, guys. There's 200 megs of caffeine in there.
We're not sponsored yet, but please.
3D.
Yeah.
Delicious. I ain't actually had that one. Yeah.
I'll try some.
No, I'm all right. Mate. I'm all right. So yeah, people will essentially, they'll start a fat loss phase, and sometimes fat loss phases need to be relatively restrictive. Like, you know, they need to be in order to get in shape, okay? And then they're like, right, okay, my cardio's up here, my output's up here, my exercise up here, my food's down here, I'm in shape, or I'm close to being in shape, or like I'm getting in shape. They're getting some kind of success. They're like, fucking hell, like I can't go for a beer with my mates, I can't do X, Y, and Z, I can't go for a meal with the missus, like, how the fuck can I sustain this? So they quit.
Yeah.
And that's what happens.
See that a lot, I'm assuming. Do you have like a lot of, I mean, I don't want to say like, do you have a lot of clients who like come in for like a month and drop off? I'm sure you've had that where people start with you and they're like, nah, just do
not anymore as much
Not
at
anymore,
all.
because you're quite smart of who you pick as well.
Yeah, there is that.
Yeah.
So there's like, we actually do like, I do take my time speaking to people before they actually even have a call with me, and then I actually have a call, which these calls last like an hour now. Do you know what I mean? I take my time speaking to people and deciding whether they're actually a good fit. But a lot of it's to do with, it's not necessarily the client's fault. It's me making sure, and I don't know if any other coaches might watch this, but it's making sure you educate them when you have that first initial conversation. So, yeah, and I think a lot of that's just having the understanding that you don't need to be in a fat loss phase for the rest of your life to stay in shape. Okay, there's a little something called a reverse diet, and then something I've coined the phrase sustainability phase, which I've done with a number of clients now and been very successful with it. And that's basically a phase where we trickle them away from, say, for example, you know, the habits that they had to use in the fat loss phase, such as weighing food, being meticulous with, you know, steps and cardio and stuff like that. But mainly like how meticulous they needed to be with the food side of things. Peel them away from that type of thing, and gradually peel them away from doing check-ins as frequently and stuff like that. And eventually, what you see is when you do it right, people will maintain their body weight plus minus a couple of pounds.
Yeah.
whilst not having to wear food, whilst not having to do all these things. And all of a sudden it's like, fucking hell, this is easy.
Yeah.
But to get there from the initial point, there's a whole process.
Habits as well. I think habits would be I was going to say, like, why people so struggling, like, people struggle so much, but I think it's like going to the gym. Like, going to the gym the first time you go, it's probably crap, and the first 2 weeks, crap. You go 3-4 weeks, after 2 months in, like, for me personally, I used to hate going when I was 17, 18, 19. I used to go through, like, stints of doing it, motivation, hypes and up and downs. And then as soon as you start seeing, like, the essentially what the effects are after, so when Olympic lifting or when you're doing, like, snatching, and then you've been chasing a certain weight for so long, I mean, you hit that one weight, you're like, this is great. And then the next time you go in, you're, like, more motivated, and then it becomes just a habit. Like, if you don't go, I think you'll be the same. My brother was the same as well when he was proper addicted to the gym, where if he didn't go, he'd be in a bad mood. So when I went on holiday for like 5 days, I just didn't go to the gym. I was in a bad mood. My sleep was crap. Appetite was low. I was just irritable. Came back. First thing I did was straight to the gym. Just sweat. I know a lot of people say when they go on holiday now, when they you have jet lag, go straight to the gym, because then you'll kind of almost sweat out that jet lag, that all that toxins or whatever it is you've built up over travel. And I think habit is probably, well, for me, it's just because now I don't even have to think about it's gym, and everything else works around the gym. So it's like, and everything else works around the meals. So if I know I've got something on a Friday night or Friday afternoon, I'm like, okay, I need to be going to the gym around 11, not my usual time at 6. But I guess people who don't have it as a habit will like, oh, I'll try and go on Saturday for that run. You tell yourself you're not going to do it, or you tell yourself you're going to do it, and you not put it in your calendar, not put time away, you're probably not going to do it, because it's not enjoyable, probably, for a lot of people who don't do it often. They're like, well, I'm going to go for a run. I'm hungover. It's Saturday morning. It's raining, especially in the UK. It's raining every day. And it's like, I get why people don't do it. And I see people when you go to like other like nice countries like Australia, and where the sun's always shining and everyone's always running, because it's just part of their culture. And I think, especially in the UK, we have bad culture. Like, we have bad drinking culture. We have bad binge eating culture. We have one of the worst. I think we have the highest obesity rate, and one of the highest obesity rates in the world, like compared to like per capita or something like that.
I wouldn't be surprised if we're up there.
It's quite bad, isn't it?
Yeah, on the habits point, and that's super interesting that you touched upon, like how you used to find it difficult to be consistent with your training because you weren't enjoying it, and then as soon as you found a way to enjoy it, the habit became easier. So I don't know if you ever I read Atomic Habits, The Power of Habit. Obviously, it's quite important that I understand these things, obviously being a coach. But yeah, so like in terms of, if anyone wants to start a habit that's like healthy and good for them, right? There is like an element of, apart from getting the pump, which is like the immediate gratification. Like if you get a sick pump, mate, that's straight away.
I was like, it's like coming.
Yeah, that's it, right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So like fucking like Arnold said it, but like apart from that, and the bit of endorphins you'll get after, it is sort of a delayed gratification thing. Yeah. So like in order to, like, essentially what we're talking about, if you want to get a habit absolutely fucking dialed in, you want to reduce friction. So when I say reduce friction, it's like, okay, how can I make this thing I need to do for me? How do I make it as seamless as possible? So it's like, obviously, like lifting weights, there needs to be a certain level of intensity. If you want to change your physique, there's going to have to be a level of hard to it. But how do I make this hard as easy as I possibly can do? And there is a place for, you do need that. So like, it may be that we pick a gym that's close to us. It may be that you pick certain exercise protocols that you enjoy more. You mentioned clean and jerk snatches. You obviously enjoyed the Olympic lifting variants, okay? Yeah. I went through a phase of training for, I did powerlifting for a few years. Yeah. So it's like, I fucking loved it. Do you know what I mean? I just wanted to, So it's like, it's having them sort of things that's going to reduce the friction on an even more basic level. Like I even put, like, you think you pass these basic things when you've been training for a number of years, but you're fucking not. So it's like, even last week, right? One way you can reduce friction with the gym and make it an easier habit is make yourself a sick playlist. Yeah. Make yourself a playlist that you fucking love the songs. Yeah. I had some 50 Cent playing, mate. I wanted best sessions by the ages, mate. So it's like,
does it make a difference, music?
Yeah, 100%.
I did the other day in here. I was like, all the songs were hitting. And I was like going on Spotify, and I opened my SoundCloud. I haven't done that in years, and I was like, oh. And then I was like, what? But I couldn't get into it because I was probably not already in the mood. But then sometimes you get that one song, it's like, oh, you do the pump, and you're like, you know what? It took 30 minutes, but then you're finally in, and then you don't want to leave. But before that, you were like, I can't be bothered doing this. I actually came, my friend was like, how you doing? I was like, I can't be bothered.
Yeah,
but I showed up, and I still showed up, and I was like, if I can still do 5 exercises instead of 9 that I'm supposed to be doing on the plan. You'll notice that on tomorrow's check-in.
Yeah.
But at least I've done the 5 in the cardio. At least I've done something. And I left and I was like, you know what? It's not amazing, but I feel a lot better that I got a sweat on and a pump.
Yeah, 100%, man. Like, you're right. And it's like, we don't need to, like, sometimes you can, these little habits that sound like, some people may think they're, personally, I'm talking about this because I felt like this before. Like, I'm above that shit. I don't need fucking music. I'm a fucking beast. I've been doing this for years. Like, I don't need music. I don't need to change
white noise.
I don't need to do anything. Like, I have actually trained with, like, no music and stuff. Like, I've done.
Couldn't do that.
I did it, yeah, so, but, like, in lockdown, I train with no music sometimes, just to, like, show to myself that I don't need shit. But, like, you don't, but anyway, and that obviously got me excited in another way, okay, so which reduced friction in another weird way. But yeah, these things, they are good to lean on from time to time. So, like, yeah, I think that what you mentioned there is, like, you enjoyed your weightlifting, right? You enjoy certain music. So, like, you know, you've got them things where that's going to reduce the friction of this habit you want to fucking ingrain. And obviously now you know from previous experience, when you're not on your training and you don't train, you actually feel worse. Yeah. And the motivation, like, in terms of, like, motivators, feeling shit and the fear of feeling worse is actually a bigger motivator for most people than actually thinking, I feel good, but I want to feel better. Like, the former, feeling shit, is a much easier motivator. Yeah.
It's like anything, isn't it? You know, you like, once you hit rock bottom or when you feel burst, it's always a better motivator to do better. It's like when you lose your job, you're more motivated to get another job. You go for a breakup, you're more motivated to probably lose weight and get into a better shape because you've got that pain create. Well, it's that I had it on another podcast. Was it pain creates growth? I thought it was a really good saying. I think that was the title of our pod actually. Or it's going to be. So I just thought it was a really good saying because it is true. And like I said to you before, I literally thought about getting a PT for 2-3 years, and then literally had like a sort of breakup. And then you messaged me the next day randomly when I was at the services. And I was already in like rock bottom. I was like, time to, and then that was it. That was like the catalyst.
We acted pretty fast, I think. I think we had a phone call. Like,
we had a phone call when I was in Nottingham, and then
it was short. I think we had a phone call that very same week. Like,
it was like the next day or something. And then we started. And then literally you sent me all the stuff, and we started the week after, and that was that end of June. And then I think I was like 85 kilograms, and then I went to Australia the second week in November, and I was 72 kilograms.
Yeah, you had a really good start point.
This
is actually a really good segue into some. Is it okay if I talk about? Yeah,
talk about what you want.
Good, right? Okay, so
that could be a fat shit.
I'll cuss you out outside the pod. No, so like something that. So obviously we know that pain's a really good motivator, and that's something that gets a lot of people started on their journeys, right? One of the biggest issues that people have is they'll be in a position of pain, which is a feeling, right? It's not like not necessarily always like you might create logical actions off the back of it, but like it's a feeling, right? It's an emotion. You feel like shit. You want to feel better. People then start their journey. They'll lose weight, or they'll get in shape, or they'll do these things, and they'll feel better. They no longer have that feeling of shit to drive them. And what happens is, and what, arguably this may have happened with you.
Probably, most likely.
Yeah, I'll let you tell me this rather than me putting words in your mouth. But like, what happened, and this is a thing that I've had with clients in the past, where it's like, this guy's lost fucking 20 kilos last year, and he flew. Had no problems. Then he's done his transformation, bit of a celebration, being on holiday, and he's struggled to get his mojo back. And because when people are no longer in a position of pain, and that's their automatic way to get motivated, it's then changing your thought process to being like, right, instead of thinking, right, everything always has to come when I feel shit. I always have to get motivated to do stuff when I feel shit. Let's try and flip it. Instead of thinking, I feel shit, I want to feel better. Let's think, I already feel all right. What's wrong with me fucking leveling up and just being the best I could possibly fucking be? Because what could that bring to me? What could that bring in terms of confidence? How could that affect my business or my profession? And then what is that going to be like? Yeah. And then what actually happens if I don't do that? Like, what could I miss out on? And I think that is a very important and useful frame. If you've been at this for a number of years, you've shown yourself in getting shape. Like for you, for example, this is great. Because everyone can get in shape. Yeah. Everyone can get in shape. It's after you get in shape, being like we've got the systems, we've got systems like reverse diet, sustainability phase, but it's the mindset thing of being like, right, I'm in shape. Do I let myself go back to how I was? Do I slip right back? Or can I change the way I think and think, you know what, even though I already feel good now, let's push on and do it in a fun way as well.
That's why habits are good as well. Just like then you build the habit over the 6 months of going like training, being on like a calorie deficit, learning like what food's good, what food's bad, how much protein to have, what fat, like supplements. Or I didn't know, I knew a little bit, but then now it's like I know what my vitamins to take and what my supplements I need. I know I train better in the evening, not in the morning. I know don't train when I'm hungover because I'll get injured. That's happened 3 or 4 times, and it's just now I'm like even if I feel good, but I know I've been out the night before, I've been up till 3 in the morning. It's probably not a good idea to start lifting 140 kilogram deadlifts.
Yeah.
Just stick to cardio instead that's just learning stuff. That's from like literally being injured and then learning 3 times later that's probably not a good idea. But I'd have carried on doing that unless you told me. Yeah. And I think just having those habits now of like, okay, well, I know I like the treadmill, I like cycling, so let's stick to those. Let's not start adding in rowers and assault bikes what you don't enjoy, because then you go to the gym and resent the fact you have to do cardio. 100%. And then it's like before you don't like running as much. Well, how about doing 20 minutes on the treadmill walking and then doing 5 sprints for a minute? Probably burn just as many calories. You get a pump on, you get the same sweat, but you're not having to go for the painfulness of going outside, put your running trainers on and try to run 30 minutes in the rain, because you know the treadmill can probably give you the same output. So I think that's, for me, like that was like the little things like that where those are the things where I didn't want to go, and the little habits where I'm like, I don't want to do that. And that's why I liked CrossFit so much, because it was so different. But then I love the weightlifting, the gymnastics side. But then I hated the metcons and the rowing, because I hate rowers. It gives me bad back. The what is it? The ski erg, whatever it is. That I always used to pull my shoulder out. The flipping assault bike, I'd lose my lungs for 2 days. It's just, if some people love it, but then you tell people who like love that stuff that they can sit on a rower for 2 hours. You tell them to go on a bike ride outside, they're like, absolutely not. But that's just because everyone's different. It's just finding the thing you like, and I think for me it was like finding something I liked, which took 22 years, whatever it was. But it was literally just. I love it. Literally, if you put me in a room with a flipping bar and some bumper plates, I'd be happy for 2 hours. Like, genuinely, that's all actually all I need. I don't need all the fancy gear and all that stuff, but obviously you need that if you want to build up and stuff. No, but 100%. I think that for me, that was just like, oh, that's what I get now. People have football, tennis, whatever it is. It's just finding something that works. And I think I have friends who don't go to the gym at all. They're literally the fast metabolisms are lucky shit. But they go climbing, like bouldering, like twice a week. Yeah. And they're so strong. They're like 60 kilograms, skinny as old, but their forearms are massive. Yeah. But they're not going because they want to get big. They go because they enjoy it, but it's also exercise. Yeah. And I'm like, I could go do that. But then I'll probably go and just be like, my forearms hurt, my hands are hurt. This is probably not for me. Yeah. I'm too heavy, whatever it is. 100%.
So it's a lot of it is, if you are someone that struggles with motivation to get in the gym, or you struggle with actually getting started, and it's just like having that confidence and motivation to get going and stuff, keep going, it is about enjoying it, man. Definitely. It's a big part. You're not always going to do
it. You're not going to enjoy it every day. Like, let's be honest. Even if you're I'm sure these Gymshark athletes and stuff, you see them all the time. They're like, some days they just probably don't want to go. But they're getting paid. So they're like, I have to go. Sometimes you have to. If someone paid me to work out, I'd be jacked. About Henry Cavill and Steel. I guess my next question is probably more curious to me. What's like the biggest pet peeves of being a PT and coach? Like, what's something that annoys you being a coach? Or
Simba tie.
The camera's there.
Simba tie. There's 3
cameras. Yeah, like what's like some things that, because obviously you talked about a lot of the benefits of the job of like helping people and the fact you do something that you enjoy as well. And I spoke to, I know you said before the episode, Dan Stott, who I had on last it was like September last year or November, and he does like personal training for like helps personal trainers online and stuff like that. And he used to play football and be into that, and the reason he enjoys it because he's into fitness. So if you can see other people get into fitness, that's what is his motivator. And I guess that's the same probably for you. You enjoy the fact you get to see like the lads getting jacked and having like the community side of things. But what's like the negative side of things maybe?
I'm going to, you know what, can I just touch upon first of all what I actually do love about the job?
Yeah, go for it.
Because it has developed and it has changed quite a bit.
Go for it.
It's like the main thing that I actually, essentially I've always been best at coaching people similar to me in some way. Like I've coached all sorts of people that are nothing like me, and I've had great success. But the guys that I get the most satisfaction out of are people that are like either the younger version of me or similar to me in some way. So like right now, the guys that, and usually what happens is the ones that I enjoy training the most seem to just do the best. So like right now, it's kind of like business owners or guys that really value their professional life, and they're trying to balance that with the family stuff, and they kind of don't really think that they already feel like the bandwidth's maxed out. Okay, so I've had quite a few guys that have come on recently like this, and they're fucking flying because their limiting belief was, right, I need to be 100% or nothing. I can't be 100% because I'm 100% with my business or my job, and I've also got my family that I need to be 100% with. So I literally can't be doing this shit. So what they do is they just don't really do much of the health or the physique stuff or the fitness stuff. Or they do a little bit, but they're never like maximizing the potential because they think it's not feasible to do so amongst everything else.
Yeah, makes sense.
So I essentially help these guys get fucking ripped, get jacked, show them what they can do physically, okay? But that in turn is giving them so much more confidence, and they're getting the knock-on effect. Basically, that's why they come for, to show themselves that they can do that and have the tools to be able to do that shit for the rest of their life alongside the business, the profession, the family, what have you. But the bigger benefit, like the photo shoots and things like that, they're just like it's almost like a symptom of like the actual thing that we're trying to do. It's almost like a side effect of the success. The actual success is showing them that they're able to fucking do this shit.
Yeah, it's like a nice add-on. Though.
Yeah, it's like the confidence, and it's like the ability to like balance things and say like, right, there's like, say for example, there's 100 things you can do. You know, imagine you got like 100% of the things you can do with regards to your physique and your training. What's the actual 20% or the 80% or what have you that actually matters the most, rather than trying to focus on everything? And they're the guys that I fucking love helping the most. So just to make that super clear.
Yes.
Who I legitimately help. It is guys with families generally, guys with families and, you know, businesses as well. And
mixed. Like people who are like high performing people, I suppose, as well.
Yeah, basically driven guys, like driven men that just want to fucking, this is the missing piece of what they've, you know, this is the missing piece basically.
Yeah, the last piece in the pie.
Relationships, business, work, but then health is like, it is it's something that they just haven't, it's like down here.
And it's also like there's a massive correlation between high performing people and people who are also super fit. You look at any, like go to any recruitment agency, the best recruiter is always the big guys who used to be football lads or rugby lads, the confidence, they got on phone calls. We used to literally hire people, like we used to go to LinkedIn and say they were like a captain of a club, a football club, rugby club, swimming club, like lacrosse, because that attribute will then filter down into confidence.
Yeah.
Maybe a bit arrogance, but then you need that to be a recruiter. And sometimes in sales, you have to have that little bit of, you need to be like, I can talk, and you know what I mean?
Yeah, no,
savvy and stuff.
No, 100%.
So it does play a part. I've noticed 100%, like being in better shape and feeling better. I feel my clothes fit better. I feel like I can talk to most. I mean, I talk to most people anyway, to be honest. But I definitely feel better, and I can feel more confident in my skin. Probably done me favors with girls as well. Not that does very well anyway, but but it's true. It definitely, I don't be like, that girl's not gonna talk to me because I'm chubby. She might talk to me. That's one less thing to worry about. Which is, there's plenty of things to worry about with me, but it's one less thing I have to worry about. But it's funny you said about high performing people or people in business, because there was a study. This guy wrote a book and he basically interviewed like 100 high performing like people in America. It was like business owners, CEOs, like, you know, like billionaire people. Yeah. And I think the only thing that correlated between all of them is that they all had either a Concept 2 rower, a Concept 2 bike, or an erg, or like a row erg, whatever it was in the house. They all had something like that in the house that they did every day, and it was like a continual like theme. And out of all of them, it was like, obviously there was other things, but you noticed they were all healthy, fit. They had like either chefs or like they had PTs and coaches who lived with them or followed them around on the work and stuff like that, because they realized that was like the key to like that optimizing that 1% later down the line. Because if they know if they're eating right and sleeping right and exercising, they're going to be dialed in for the next day.
Yeah, 100%.
If you're like drinking and eating crap all weekend, and you got a meeting on Monday, you're going to be sat there in the meeting like half asleep because your metabolism, your body's just like just dying basically.
These guys, when they're not problem aware, like business owners, like high performing business owners and like people that do well at work and stuff like that, they're usually not problem aware, because as men, if we're doing well in something and something's going well and we're sort of like focused on it, we're blessed. And if something isn't, as long as we've got something else if we don't feel like we can fix it, as long as we've got something else we can fix and work on, we're usually all right. And that's usually what most blokes are like who end up working with.
Yeah.
But then they get to a point where they are problem aware, and then they become solution aware, which is where I come in. And like when they're problem aware, they're like, it's either they get to a point of pain, what we talked about earlier, where they're like, fucking look at the state of me. or it's like they'll realise that just their like general state on a weekly basis just isn't as good as it where it could be. Like you said, after the weekend, if you've been boozing all weekend, you run your own business, man. You've come
and you got older as well.
You can pretend that you feel sick. You can pretend that you're functioning well, especially if business is going well. It's easy to say that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was just to be clear on who exactly like I do kind of help now. Like out of all the guys that we work with, all the people that I work with, should I say, 95% are male. Only have the occasional female that slips through now.
Yeah, because you used to it was like always like an even split, didn't you? Kind of, but then I guess you just wanted to specialise in men's physique and stuff, didn't you?
Yeah, so I was essentially, it came last January when I decided, so it was about a month after having my daughter, and I decided okay, I want to go fully online this year. And it's like, right, okay, who do I actually hired a consultancy agency. So there's a guy called Ben Hawksworth who helps coaches, things like that. So I hired him last January. And he basically sat down and was like, right, who do you coach? And I'm like, right, well, I have my powerlifting page, Summer Strength. I have my CJ Summers. I have this thing called Online Coaching on a Budget. I also have my normal online coaching program. Then a PT Avril, who's in her 60s, a PT. This guy who's like, right, fuck me. You need to decide who you work with. Because as soon as you're like super clear with your messaging, super clear with everything that you put out, you'll repel. You'll repel like 48 people, but you'll super attract two. And essentially, at first, I was just like, I basically just fucking my best. It was like, who'd you get the best results with if you can't decide? Because I was like, I enjoy helping everyone.
Yeah.
So who'd you get the best results with? And I looked, and I'm like, I looked at my page, and I thought, they're all fucking guys that are like my age.
Dudes,
They're all guys that are like either my age or, somewhere between 25 and 40. And I was 28 at the time. So all between 25 and 40, they're the guys that help the most, that get the best results.
Yeah.
I've got like brilliant results with female clients.
Yeah.
I had a 50-year-old client female who went through a sustainability phase, lost like, we did the whole thing, fat loss phase, reverse diet, sustainability. She stayed like the full 12 months. Jeez. She did the program. Do you know what I mean? Like 12 to 18 months for most people is what they need if they want to stay in shape for the rest of their life and actually have the tools, as long as they commit to it. And she's still in shape now. She's my friend's auntie. Like, I've seen her. She has stayed in shape. She lost like 3 stone and she's sustained it. And there's only like 90, if you look at the research on this, there's only like 90 to 95% of the people that actually lose a big amount of weight, keep it off. But anyway, so yeah, I had the even split. And so I decided that's who I'm working with. And originally it was just men. And then this year, I've sort of had a bit of a redo again. It's like, right, who do I actually work with? Because I don't really just work with all men. Because I've worked with some people last year and I'm like, that didn't go as well. We didn't click, or they weren't really bought into how I do things. And it's like, right, I realised that obviously I know you haven't got children yourself, Sim, but I realised that the guys that, no, not all my great, I've got great clients that haven't got kids as well, don't get me wrong. But like guys where, that was one like subcategory. Fathers did well because they've not just got to do it for themselves. They've got to do it for the families. They've got to do it for the kids. So they've got to be a role model. You don't want to be a loser dad. No, put it like just call a spade a spade. Like I don't want to be. Don't want to be a fucking fat loser dad. No. So it's like you've got that element. So that's one category. You've also got a category of guys where it's like, right, I've got my business. Like for example, yourself, you got your business or you got your profession, whatever, and you might have a relationship going on or whatever, but you want to, this is kind of like, this was sort of the missing link that you wanted to fucking dial in a little bit, and it's going to benefit them other things. The fucking super client that really matches what I do is both of them combined. But yeah, shall we go back to what the peeves?
Hit me.
The peeves. Right, okay.
Tell me some of your pet peeves. Sure, there's loads.
There's only really one big pet peeve, and that kind of ties into another. But the biggest one is lack of communication.
Okay. From clients to you. Okay.
Yeah, from a client to me. So lack of communication. And second pet peeve is not engaging in the process. But the caveat with that second one is sometimes the process that I've prescribed might not be achievable right now for that client.
Okay.
In which case they need to communicate that, and then we create something that is achievable and
reevaluate.
Yeah, 100%, right? And the issue why that comes about is usually just down to miscommunication from both of us at the beginning. And to be fair, I'd say it's my fault a lot of the time. Usually because I'll be like, right, okay, you ready to get stuck in? Yes. Okay, yeah, I'm ready to get stuck in. But my version of ready to get stuck in is a lot different to someone else's version of ready to get stuck in. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like, I'm 100% ready to put in the work. Well, what does that mean to you?
Yeah.
What does the work mean to you?
Yeah.
Well, I'm willing to go on a walk twice a day. Do you know what I mean? Because for a lot of people that could be
that's like the 100%.
That's their 100%. Whereas like for me, you know, it's going to be a lot more than that.
That's like a bare minimum for you, probably 10,000 steps.
Well, no, not necessarily. No. But like, you know, if you know, it's different for everyone. Do you know what I mean? My 100% might be, I'm willing to do 90 minutes of cardio a day and then do my weights 6 days a week and all this, which would probably be kind of thick in some ways. But do you know what I mean? Like, it's sort of communicating that. So what happens is, and this is one of the main reasons why people don't then engage in the process, or they thought that they could engage in more than what they could. And then they're embarrassed, especially as a bloke, to then communicate that, and then communication falls off, and then they inevitably give up. And then the process is gone. And then that really fucking... It just gets me, because anyone that comes on board with me, I want them to win. Right? I want them to fucking smash it. So when they don't, I'm getting better at it. It bothers me a little bit less now, but it has really bothered me in the past. Because like when I initially speak to someone, I'm like, right, you do what I tell you, or you do what we agree to do. You know what I mean? The next
I'm
12,
the captain now.
in the next, like legit, in the next 12 weeks, you can look like a different fucking person. For the majority of people, you can look like a different man in 12 weeks' time. Okay, you might not have the tools to be able to do it for the rest of your life in 12 weeks' time. In fact, I'd argue you almost definitely wouldn't. No. Maybe 12 to 18 months, but 12 weeks, you can look like a different man. But then it's obviously just being able to engage and communicate and change things. Now, you know, I've had it recently. Obviously, the more the client base has grown as well, just because, say, for example, the percentage is 5%. Let's say, for example, less than, well, it's not 5%, but I can't, you know, let's just say like a small percentage of people will do this. The communication will just fall off and they won't speak. Like, I'll touch base with them, or Inash, other coach, will touch base, and they'll miss the check-in, they won't respond to the messages, they won't turn up to any of the additional stuff, like the group calls, they won't turn up to anything else. And then it's almost like, right, okay, I'm actually concerned for your well-being right now. Where are you actually okay?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, just reaching out, I've noticed you've not touched base in a while. Are you actually okay? And yes, that's my biggest pet peeve. Reason being is I actually want them to win. Sometimes I do legitimately think it's rude. Like, I would not just ignore people.
Yeah, for like a week.
Like, if someone actually legitimately is just ignoring for like weeks, I'm like, you fucking rude, bro.
Yeah.
But obviously, I'm not quick to just jump and say that, because sometimes people do have some shit going on that they're struggling with.
Yeah, of course.
So sometimes people might be being rude, but I can't jump to that, obviously. So I will legitimately, because I do care, I will just try and make sure they're actually okay. But yeah, that's probably the biggest one. People just don't communicate.
Yeah,
that's it. And you know what? That's a very small percentage. You know what I mean? I don't get people to get the wrong end of the stick. People that come on board, I scare them to death with what I tell them to do, and then they just don't want to speak to me forever. Like, that's not what happens. But like the very small amount of people that don't communicate, it just makes things difficult, man.
No, yeah, it does. It's like with anything, though, isn't it? I suppose. Like, it's just, yeah. I mean, I'm always on my phone, so I'm always. If I don't get responsive in like a day, I'm like, I see you view my stories.
Yeah.
It's when you see him, it's like you see him like view all your messages on the chats, but then like you send him a message on WhatsApp or text, and then just like, nothing. Yeah. And it's like, it almost you question like, why are you paying for a service that you're not using? Because it's like, you're not going to pay for car insurance and then just not use it, because it's probably a bad example, but you know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean.
You're not going to pay for something and then not use it. I don't know. I feel like people.
I know exactly what you mean.
Again, no, people, I mean, we all slack it sometimes, aren't we? And like you said, people go through stages of being busy or motivated or driven or can't be arsed, whatever it is. I mean, I've definitely had it 100%. Probably going through that now, actually, but hopefully not after this. This is motivation.
Yeah.
This is an interesting one, actually. I heard someone else ask this on another podcast, but if you could pick 10 exercises to do for the rest of your life, what would they be? Is in like in the gym? So
for enjoyment or like optimal gains?
For optimal gains. So I think Sebum, Chris Williamson asked Sebum this on a pod last year. You think you listened to that one, haven't you? And I think he picked some really random
Chris
ones.
Williamson asked C-bum. You're asking C-bald. Right,
C-bald,
let's
yeah.
get it.
Yeah. It's like 10 exercises that'll, like, you know, that your favorite, that, you know, can optimize your whole body.
Let's go for a hybrid. I want to pick ones that I actually enjoy as well.
Go for it.
Okay.
So 10, yeah.
I have a mixture of ones that aren't optimal, okay?
Okay.
But ones that actually... Is that all right? Can I do that?
Do what you want. Is there a
Okay,
rules?
sick. In fact, yeah, let's just go with that.
Go on. I'll count
So,
down.
let's go flat dumbbell press. Not
On
because
floor?
it's optimal. No, just on a bench.
Okay.
Just because it's fucking fun, man. Slinging some
Really?
big dumbbells. Yeah.
It's my least favorite
You get strong.
exercise.
Yeah, you get strong at golf. Mate, you get strong at
Yeah.
that shit.
True. True. That's one.
Shoulders, pecs, triceps, they're growing. Plus, it's just fun, man. Just
Okay.
It's just like caveman shit. Okay?
Flat dumbbell bench.
Yeah. Okay. I wouldn't say it's like. It's a good exercise as well, to be fair.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
As long as done well. The only issue is when you're trying to just when you're really trying to just focus on like building muscle. With the dumbbell press, there's a lot of stability involved, which is a limiting factor to be able to push to like true failure with a low risk of injury. Like the risk of injury is higher on a dumbbell press than it will be on like a Smith press.
I was gonna say, like doing like a Smith press is like you've got
So much safer.
range of motion
Yeah.
as well on it. Yeah.
Yeah, so no, range of motion on a dumbbell press can be brilliant, but yeah, anyway, just love that shit. Okay, so there's one. Leg extension, love that, because fucking even it's disgusting. There's a very low level of skill required. You can, opposite of a dumbbell press, no skill required really.
Yeah.
You can just fucking work hard.
Yeah.
And it hurts.
Yeah.
But then afterwards, mate, your quads look fucking jacked. Like
that's fair.
quad hanging over the knee shit. So like, love that.
Leg extension, okay, that's a good one.
Can't take that.
Okay, so it's chest and legs.
Ooh, do you know which one this is just a fresh one in, right? So I did really like an incline dumbbell curl. Okay, those that are listening,
Like that.
yeah. Those that are listening, like essentially, the research is showing now that the exercises where you put the most tension on in the stretch position is actually you're going to get the majority of your muscle building response. Okay, so a bicep, for reference, when your arms are straight and then behind you, like on an incline bench when you're doing a bicep curl, that's like a pretty well lengthened, stretched out bicep. So you're going to get some pretty good gains out of that.
So that hurts as well.
Yeah, especially if you're pausing at the bottom. And, you know, that's a correlation. Things that hurt, you get a good pump. Yeah. It's usually a sign that they're a good exercise as well. Yeah. But I've been doing the double arm with the D handles on the cable, stood further forwards, with the cable set high up.
Biceps.
So it's basically an incline bicep curl, but on the cables. So
on that?
Yeah, but with right back and like pausing at the bottom.
Okay.
Feels fucking sick.
So you do those both of those biceps?
Yeah.
So
And that's like a more optimal exercise and it feels sick. Okay.
That's 4.
Is it 4?
Or 5?
That's 3, bro.
Flat bench.
Yep, quad extension. Biceps with a cable.
Bicep. Oh, you don't want biceps to lead?
No, it was that one. No,
okay.
it's this. Okay,
So that's 3. Okay, that's 3.
That's 3. Complete joy and fun. Not recently, but like I was probably the exercise I was strongest at. Also, that caveman type shit, not optimal. A lot of like general fatigue. Just conventional deadlift. Just the deadlift off the floor.
Okay. And it's good for your lower back, your hamstrings, your calves.
Yeah, as long as you're not like full monging it out. But like, yeah, the conventional deadlift it's a great exercise. You know, I think everyone should know how to deadlift. Yeah. Because it's just generally like how to hinge, bend your knees and pick shit up. Like it's a good functional movement for life to be able to do shit at work if you've got a functional
strong back. Yeah.
Just do shit, right? You've got kids, you should be able to pick them up, deadlift. But it causes a lot of fatigue, man. Like I don't really do them right now. When I was powerlifting, I did, and I fucking loved them.
It's painful.
So sick exercise there.
Okay.
Weighted pull-ups, brilliant exercise. Caveman shit, also very good exercise for the lats. Your lats, when they're fully stretched, about shoulder width, arms overhead, you're going to get a fucking pretty good stretched out like there. So a great exercise for making gains, and it's just caveman shit as well. I think that's 5.
That's 5.
Right, sick.
Any abs?
Any
tries,
abs stuff?
Tries, abs.
You know what, right? This is weird because I probably go through phases with this shit. I used to love V-bar pushdowns with triceps.
I like those. My favourite though.
Everyone loves them because they can stack more weight. And do you know what? I'm about to tell you an exercise that I'm loving right now, and I never liked them ever because I used to get a lot of elbow pain. Other people did like pretty much anyone that's done them for any length of time gets elbow pain. But you fucking do them for a few sets with good technique. Your fucking elbows feel like they're gonna fucking blow off. Your triceps feel like they're gonna fucking just. You know, I talked about the quad swelling over the knee earlier. You get the triceps swelling over the elbow with these. Just an easy bar skull crusher. But the way I'd recommend, but like not how I'd like I usually coach people doing them slightly behind the head, just literally because it takes a bit of pressure off the elbow joint.
Yeah.
But if you do them bad boys directly down to your eyebrow, but real slow, pausing for a couple seconds, so you can't use as much weight.
In the front?
Laid on a bench, skull crusher. Laid on a bench press, laid on a bench, flat, easy bar, skull crushers.
Oh, yeah.
Down to your eyebrows, pause for a second, and then come all the way back up.
Wreck, man.
The pump you get off them, your triceps go fucking jacked. But
yeah, shake your arms.
You do that shit fast, you go too heavy, you're gonna risk fucking your elbows up. But they are a great exercise if you do them right.
Skull crusher.
What? How many are we on there?
6.
6, right. 7, 8, 9, 10. Fuck me, 4 more.
Abs, chest, back.
Right,
You've
we've
got
done
quite a few
quads.
back ones, haven't you? You've only got one leg one, I think.
What else for legs?
Squats?
Nah, man. You
Hack
know
squat.
what? Squats is one of them ones where I'm just fucking shit at it.
Hack squat?
They've always felt weird.
I do like the hack squat, to be fair.
I'd say a pendulum.
Pendulum.
Do I say pendulum?
Pendulum squat?
Yeah, pendulum squat. Yeah, because
Okay.
especially the Watson piece here, it's heavy as shit, but I just like it. It feels natural to me.
Okay.
So I like that one. What else we got? We've got 3 more exercises. This is a lot of exercises, Sid.
Anything for the glutes?
For the batty, deadlift, man. Mate, if you can deadlift a lot of weight, you
Calves?
Calves, mate. You've seen my calves.
Yeah, true.
I'd go. It's probably why I've got shit calves. I like seated calf, and they're not even a great at calf exercise. You're better off with a standing calf raise if you want good calves.
Okay.
So I'd probably go. Yeah, that's terrible.
That's 8. 2 more. Abs?
Abs. Oh my god, I've got like my conflicting strength and conditioning background, powerlifting background, and then more physique related stuff. Yeah. You know what? Like the meathead in me, and like just wanting to be strong in general. I love a weighted plank, like 20 kilo, like multiple 20 kilo plates stacked on your lower back, glutes squeezed, head down.
Pain cake.
That's more of a general core exercise. If I was saying abs, I'd say like a rope crunch.
Yeah, I like rope crunch.
You know, the function of the abs is to basically, you're trying to like curl your spine in essentially. Almost like you're trying to headbutt yourself in the nuts. If you're doing that, you're usually doing the right type of thing. Imagine you trying to put your nipples in your boxer shorts.
Yeah.
Doing stuff like that, you know you're working your abs.
That's
okay,
fair.
Trying to contract the abs. But yeah, probably weighted planks because it's just meathead shit. Got one more?
I think that was it.
Is that 9? Is that 10?
Yeah,
We'll
that's 10.
call it 10.
Yeah.
Regardless, that's a lot
Yeah.
of exercises.
Yeah,
Man.
that's it's a well-rounded group exercise. Yeah, I was gonna say abs is always a difficult one because I don't think anyone enjoys them. But hanging leg raises, so good.
Yeah, I've been doing them recently.
Like strict hanging leg raises, but I have to wear grips because I find I know it's you should be wearing grips. You do like pull-ups. I wear grips, like just like the CrossFit ones, because I'm not training my grip here. I'm training my back, my lats, or my abs.
100%.
So if I can get 3 reps without grips, but I can get 8 reps with grips, I'm gonna use the grips.
110%.
Sometimes, especially some bars at some gyms, that's flipping awful.
Yeah, 110%.
And I'm like,
definitely.
and I've come off a rig before, so
You did. You should overlay that. One thing with the hanging leg raises, if anyone does the hanging leg raises, make sure that you are trying to actually rotate your hips forwards, like male audience, testicles towards you.
Don't swing, yeah.
Testicles towards you at the top. If you just keep your bum stuck out and more of a neutral spine and you just lift your legs, you'll just work in a lot of hip flexors. But if you actually tilt your pelvis under, you're going to get more quads.
If you could recommend 5 top supplements, so anything from like creatine, protein, vitamins, like anything like that, what would be like you would like say to someone who is very unhealthy and they've just started going to the gym, they're like, oh, I want to buy all this shit from my protein and like all this. Would you like keep it simple? What are the 5 things you tell them to do just to optimize the like health in general? Not necessarily for like weightlifting and stuff, but just health in general that everyone should be doing.
There isn't 5.
There isn't. Okay.
There isn't 5. But I'll go with the framework of 5.
Okay.
So if someone would come on board with me, a guy, okay, and generally the majority, I've got clients from other parts of the world, but generally they're going to be in the UK, right? Not always. Got guy in Canada, Texas, fucking Cayman. But if they are in the UK, typical guy that comes to work with me, I'll say, you want to take a vitamin D3 with K2?
Yeah.
The reason being, we do not get enough sunlight in the UK, and this will have an impact on their mood, their performance in the gym, and also their immune system. If you are deficient in vitamin D, which you probably are if you're in the UK, like the chances are you are, and you sort that shit out, it'll take quite a few months for the levels to come up, but there is a high chance that you will feel a difference in your mood. So it's going to impact your mental health and your general well-being. Okay. Also, a lot of people don't realize that vitamin D is actually a hormone. So it's not even a vitamin, which is weird.
It's like a high dose. You want like a high dose of that then, pretty much. Like a high dose of vitamin D, K2.
Not a high dose. Like you want like anywhere from like 2,000 to 4,000 IU per day. Okay. So ideally as well, you want that in an oil capsule format. But it's not a big issue. The reason being the oil format is basically more bioavailable, so we digest it better.
Okay,
so
makes sense.
My protein do on easy peasy. The K2 element. So we now know that when you take basically vitamin D, you can end up with calcium getting into the blood. Okay, you don't want loads of that. K2 helps get rid of that.
Okay,
simple terms. Okay, so yeah, vitamin D3, K2. If you can't get an oil format, that's fine. Just have it with some food in the morning, whatever. So that's number one. Number two, a multivit. Okay. This doesn't come onto a lot of people's lists, but I think because a lot of my client base to come in, especially if they're doing a bit more of an aggressive fat loss phase, it's very difficult to get all your vitamins and minerals from all your different foods because you're not going to be able to eat loads of different foods. Or to be fair, mate, a lot of people don't like loads of different foods. So a multivit's like a cheap and easy way to sort of tick that box. I won't really worry with which particular one you get. You can get one from MyProtein. I think it's called like vitamin A to Z.
Sell them in Tesco, don't they?
I won't get them.
Don't get from Tesco.
Might be fine, but generally, I'd go to like bulk powders or MyProtein. Okay, so multivitamin. Fish oil. Okay, so I prefer the Nordic oil brand, probably one of the best, fish oils on the market.
Okay,
and it's going to contain what's called EPA and DHA, which are basically the active ingredients in fish oil which make it effective. This is important for lung health, brain function, joints, the job lot. It's like the modern day fucking snake oil. Like cowboys in good old days. Like some guy selling snake oil, it's going to make your dick bigger and all this kind of shit.
To be fair, I take that because I take vitamin omega 3, 6, and 9 of my protein ones just because I'm not a massive fish fan. So I'm like, if I can supplement it with something else.
Yeah, it's great.
They smell awful, the capsules, when they left them out. If you leave them in the car, don't leave them in your car, they stink.
Put them in your fridge, that's a good hack. Put them in your fridge, okay?
Don't leave them in your car, they will stink your car.
You can get the Nordic oil brand off Amazon. Definitely recommend. Put it in your fridge. Okay. So there's that. So now on to 3. And then the last 2, so these aren't necessarily like your health supplements, but they are well research backed and they do work. So creatine monohydrate. So you don't need creatine, fucking all the other. I've even forgotten what the other creatines are called. I just erased them from my fucking memory. Creatine monohydrate is the most research backed one there is. It's going to help with performance in the gym, strength, and therefore muscle gain. Also muscle retention, so holding on to your gains when you're doing your fat loss phase. And also they've now done a lot of research on it with regards to brain function and actually preventing some of the aging process with your brain. So creatine monohydrate, really safe, 5 grams a day.
It's cheap as well.
Powder, unflavoured, get it. Not as cheap as it used to be. It used to be bare cheap.
Really, it's like £10, £15.
It used to be like 10 quid for like a kilo. Now it's like 20 quid for 500 grams.
Because everyone's buying it. Spider Man, isn't it?
I suppose, fuck knows, inflation, everyone's buying it. Some other shit, probably. Creatine, and then last one, whey protein. So whey protein, very good. Obviously, it's essentially a whole protein source. It's derived from milk, and it's just going to help. Most normal people will struggle to get their protein targets and guidelines from food alone. So the whey protein is just a very convenient, easy way and a good high quality protein in order to get that. Now, with that being said, I know some people, such as yourself, Sim, obviously being a client, don't digest whey protein well. So there is other options of the whey which will digest better. However, they are more expensive, and whey protein fucking is so expensive now.
Yeah.
So like 2 and a bit kilos of whey protein is like 40, 50 quid now. Okay.
You're having it every day as well.
You used to be, but it's like works out as like 50p a serving. Whereas chicken breast is like a quid. So it's not a bad do.
No.
Anyway, I will get into the price side of things. So whey protein, if you find that you have poor digestion with whey protein, you can get a whey protein isolate. So there's less carbohydrates in there, so less lactose, other things in there.
It's like juices, isn't it?
So you'll no. I'm talking about the juices. So you can get the whey isolate juices, but I'm just talking about whey isolate.
Oh, not the powder you put in like.
I'm talking about powder, but I'm not talking about the juices. It's like a milkshake sort of thing.
I know what you mean, yeah.
Regular whey protein, if that digests poorly, you got whey isolate, which is more expensive, but does tend to digest well with pretty much everyone. If that still fucking doesn't digest well, you got whey hydrolysate. Fucking can't even say it. Hydrolysate, okay?
Yeah.
I might have fucking said that wrong. Essentially, I don't have to prescribe that to many people at all.
Really?
As you can tell by the way I can't even say it. it digests very, very, very well. Okay. It's got like hardly any carbs in it, hardly fats in, but it's expensive as shit. So generally, yeah, they're the 5 supplements that I'd recommend to 99% of people.
Okay.
And pretty much everyone that I work with.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I think I lost count of how many things. I think I'm like 8, 9. I have like magnesium. Like, but I have them gummies because I just struggled. I don't like swallowing pills. Or sometimes I have like half my stuff's like I've got like 4 tablets, and then like I'm always like, let's get the fruity gummies. So I've got like 3 different gummies, and I'm like, sometimes when I'm hungry, I'm having double dosing. I'm like, screw it, man.
Oh no!
And I'm like having like 2 vitamin C little orange tablets, and then like 2 magnesium. I'm like, they're 1,000 milligrams. I shouldn't be having 2 of those.
Probably ODing that. You'll just piss it out. It's not an issue. But I used to have them as a kid. The sweet vitamins. I have
multivits.
Good memories about them with the little smiley faces on them.
Yeah,
I used to get them.
they don't have smiley faces, but they're awesome. Absolutely delicious. I guess what do you think like the future of personal training, nutrition? Because obviously there's so many influencers on social media, and it's like there's new fads every day. There's new like 30-minute abs. There's like diet drinks. And a lot of it is, if you've got any brain cells, typically if you eat well and you train well and you go for walks and you get the steps in, you're probably going to be quite a healthy, fit person. Obviously, like there's levels of fitness, right? But what do you think like the future of the training industry will look like in say 5 years? Do you think we'll still be doing the same old stuff where the old stuff just works? Because it's realistically, if you put in input, the output's going to be X, whatever it is. But do you think there's anything in the future that's going to change where there's going to be some like new diets like keto, and then there was like an ice bath phase, and then there's like the saunas, and then there's like the infrared. I know red light therapy is a big thing at the moment. So I don't know. Do you think there's any, not I want to say fads, but do you think there's any things that'll be like trending in the next 2 or 3 years of like the industry?
Yeah, there always is.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'd say 80% of the stuff that works is always going to be there.
Yeah.
Okay. I like the 80-20 rule just because it's easy and simple. Okay. I'd say, the majority of stuff is just going to stay true.
Yeah.
Okay. Everything that you've said there, like there's some efficacy to all elements of it. But because, like you said, because of social media, because of certain people using them, because of marketing, they can all seem more valuable than they actually are.
Yeah.
Or hold more, and when things are new and exciting, you want to try them, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Now, but yeah, with that being said, I think the majority of things are going to stay pretty the same in terms of what people think works, stuff like that. But yeah, there'll probably be the odd little thing that comes in and like might grab people's attention. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like all these things still hold value. Like I remember when about 10 years ago when there was I think it must just be because there's a lot more research on like foam rolling came in. So like every motherfucker had bought a foam roller.
really? Is that not a thing before like 10 years ago?
It probably was, but it wasn't like, I bet like 20 years ago, not many people using foam rollers, but like 10 years ago when I was at university, there was like a phase where it was like, fucking hell, like everyone does foam rolling.
Is it like the 5 year where like 5 years ago it was like Theragun and like everyone's got a Theragun? Before 5 years ago, no one even knew what a massage gun was. But now everyone's got one in the gym bag.
So that's like, so Theragun, percussion therapy, just vibration therapy. Yeah, that became a thing a few years ago.
That's a good thing, I suppose. It's not.
Yeah, but like it fucking probably convinced a lot of people to buy a £500 gun that they don't need and they don't use. Do you know what I mean?
It's mine every day.
Like I have one. You know what I mean? But it's like
mine was like 200 quid or something.
But it's like, but yeah, for the most part, it's going to look pretty the same. There's going to be things that come and go. And the majority of the stuff that gains a large amount of attention, even everything that we've just mentioned and things that you briefly mentioned, you said that. Thankfully, they all hold some efficacy. They all hold some value in some contexts.
Yeah.
But obviously the issue is when everyone thinks everything's relevant for them.
This is the thing, right? I mean, like, yeah, there's so many. I think people just like trying new things, right? It's like, end of the day, do more steps, don't eat crap, stop drinking as much alcohol, lift weights, because everyone knows. I know, like a lot of people. I think back in the day, probably you'd agree. Like, you go to coaches, especially like women as well, who like want to lose weight. It's like just cardio, and it's like no. And there used to be a misconception, right, of girls going to the gym and getting bulky, and now there's just. I mean, Gymshark probably led the way with this a lot as well. But now girls who are like in the gym and getting jacked is like, that's like the new sexy. It's like gym girls who have got big biceps and could probably choke out their boyfriends like that. but that's like 10 years ago, you'd never see girls
like squatting and well, they probably did, but not as much in the, I don't know.
No, you're right. But. Yeah, definitely. I think that's a really good thing that's come about. I think, to be fair, I think CrossFit led a lot of way for that. You know, realizing that, you know, you do these barbell lifts, you lift heavy, you're not necessarily just going to gain loads of muscle. And I think that, you know, that brought a lot more females into the sport. Powerlifting, it brought more females just into the gym in general.
Seen so many female
powerlifters. And I think that is, you know, that is a great thing. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what's trending. Muscle Mummy, that's what's trending at the moment. Have you heard of that?
I train men, bro.
It's like
my Instagram is full of men.
Says mine. No, it's not. Actually, it's the opposite. It's like girls who want to have be like it's like Muscle Mummy. It's like girls with like big legs, big like basically it's like being called a MILF, but a Muscle Mummy. So it's like girls who are like hot and they're older, they're like jacked,
but more muscular.
Yeah, like literally like they'll like there's like a I'm pretty sure there's like not a cult. There's like a there's probably some flipping accounts like the guys who are trying to like get choked out by Muscle Mummies. So it's honestly, mate, there's like a big fetish for everything.
This is a completely different conversation, bro.
On that note,
awesome, Sim.
But yeah, no, I appreciate you coming and talking to me today, man. It's been good.
Yeah, legend. Hopefully there was something helpful on there.
There will be some helpful things. I'm sure. I think a lot of people find value in stuff, and I think as well it's just motivation for people as well. So.
100%. No, thank you very much for having me on.
Got there at the end.
It's been a while, but thank you very much for having me on. If anyone does want to ask me any questions, like feel free. Like I'm an open book. Instagram cjsummers.training. If you want to message me, ask me anything you can do. If you want to follow the page, watch some of the content, that's fine as well. If you are watching and you want to drop body fat, whatever the thing is that you're struggling at the minute. And I wasn't actually I was thinking about doing this. So this is going to be, anyone that listens to this podcast, let me know what you struggle with and I'll send you a free training on that topic because we'll have covered it within the community. I have all the trainings recorded. I have guides, things like that. So whether it's fat loss, whether it's working this stuff around family stuff, weekends, whatever, drop me a message. I'll send you a free resource if you're a listener of this podcast.
Sweet. Then I'll put the links in below as well on the comments so everyone can find you easily.
Legend. Thank you
very much.
Nice, mate.
Thanks so much.
Awesome. Boss.